Good afternoon. My name is Sanjoy Sehgal. I'm from Accent Software. We make software for the fashion industry, the worldwide software fashion industry. And our latest product is WebTNA, which makes it possible to manage your TNA, your project management, very easily and very quick. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanjoy. Mr. Baljit, please.
Hi, I'm Baljit Singh Bedi. I run a company called Baljit S. Bedi and Company. We have been chartered accountants for last 40 years, and now we are doing similar work for GST. We are doing project management and we are doing project financing. Thank you.
Thank you, Baljit. Mr. Naveen Sardana, please.
Naveen Sardana here. We have a company called Living Luxuries. Living Luxuries was earlier importers of German kitchens, but due to considerable improvement in the quality of kitchens in India, thanks to a lot of imported components, we are no longer dealing with Germany, but are assembling our own kitchens here. We specialize in modular kitchens, modular wardrobes, vanities, and of course, you can get the world's best built-in kitchen appliances with us.
Thank you, Naveen. Mr. Naresh Vish, please.
Good evening, everybody. James Bond is known for the clothes he wears and the company he keeps, especially women's. We deal in both. We are manufacturers of high fashion apparels for designers in US and Europe. We promote startup designers to make in India. And our tagline is by women, for women, by love.
Can I request Mr. Rajeshwar, please, to introduce himself?
Hi, good afternoon. This is Rajeshwar Sastry, Kochi. I am running a consultancy firm by the name Vipra Associates. I deal in compliances for small and medium business organizations. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajeshwar. Can I request Mr. Abhineet, please?
Hi, good evening. My name is Abhineet Seth. I run Abode Crafts. We create, restore, and transform spaces. Started Jan 2015. We are today an end-to-end design build company for independent houses, apartments, offices, retail spaces, and warehouses. Stipulated time frame solutions, real estate solutions is what you can expect from us. Thank you.
Thank you, Abhineet. That leaves me amongst members. So my name is Shishir. I am founder, member, and current chairman of AoE. My work is in the world of essential oils obtained from plants and flowers that not only have beautiful aroma, but also have the potential to soothe body, mind, and soul. Our brand name is Miraki Essentials. The company name is Miraki Essentials. The website is mirakiessentials.com. We sell through our website as well as from Amazon, Flipkart, and also through organic stores. With this, all the members have already introduced ourselves. Can we request our guest today? Mr. Bhardwaj will be officially introduced before he speaks. So can I request Mr. Rajesh Wadhwa to tell us briefly about himself?
Thank you for having invited me over. I am Rajesh Wadhwa. I am an academician and an entrepreneur. Dr. Ajeet Bhardwaj is my senior from AIMS. I'm an optometrist. I have 3 graduations, a post-graduation and a management, and I teach in a few universities as guest faculty also. Primarily, I'm an optometrist, and I also specialize in law, the medical law, and bioethics. Thank you very much for having me over. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. Can I request Mr. Arjun, please?
I'm Arjun Subha. I'm working as a store in charge at Optique. I hear in Speech Private Limited. So I'm happy to meet you also.
Can I request Mr. Piyush to please introduce himself?
Good evening, everybody. I am Piyush Bhardwaj. I'm brother of Dr. Ajeet Bhardwaj. I'm presently in Qatar. I'm an engineer working here for Metro Rail projects. So what you see in Delhi Metro was my first project, and I come from Indian Railways. Now I'm working in the private sector. So I'm based in Doha right now, working for Doha Metro project.
Abhishek, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, AoEans, and thank you, Abhijit Roy, for inviting me into this meeting. My name is Abhishek Jain. I founded the combined company Webby Solutions Private Limited in 2005, which is a small software development company. Focus area is ETL integrations with the ERP softwares. So the benefit is like automating accounting and fulfillment. Accounting and fulfillment integrations with e-commerce platforms. So you can integrate your website with the accounting softwares like Oracle ERP, NetSuite Oracle ERP, and Amazon for shipping. So it's like backend shipping automations. Is that what I provide?
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Can I now request Mr. Abhineet to take care of the next section, which is about the one-to-one between AoE members?
As entrepreneurs, we all realize how critical one-to-one interactions are for the purpose of building trust. And at AoE, we firmly believe that trust should be built, relationships be nurtured, and business will automatically follow. As a ritual, we shall focus even more now to enable one-to-ones amongst our fellow members. And other than introducing ourselves, we shall eventually be introducing a fellow member at times. We had some good, wonderful one-to-one sessions this time. Atul sir, can I request you for, or Sanjay sir, can you throw some light on each other's one-to-one that you have together?
It was very nice of Sanjay to connect to me, and he visited our chamber, and we had a very interesting one-to-one, and I was able to understand his business module, and we found a lot of synergy between our working together, especially in Vietnam and Bangladesh, which today are emerging as the world's fastest growing ready-made garment sector, and also for textiles. And as we all know, Bangladesh has emerged as number 2. And his software, he gave us a presentation, I can't say, but it's one of the best, and it's much needed in both the countries. So I will be connecting him to our offices there. And in Bangladesh, we have a specialist who deals with this sector. So thank you, Sanjay, for coming.
Well, let me also add a couple of words. Thank you, Atul, for your hospitality and welcoming me there. The organization is quite amazing. I would actually recommend it to everybody who wants to deal with companies in different countries. It's quite amazing what they've been able to achieve. They have linkages to so many countries, 62 countries, many businesses there. It's quite a unique organization and really a force multiplier if you want to work in different countries. So I really recommend it very strongly.
Now, it's my pleasure today to introduce AoEan Mr. Rajeshwar Sastry, or as we fondly call him, Kuchi sir, a bizarre combination of commerce as well as electronics specialist. He graduated from DU Venki and Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan in 1984. Thereafter, started his stint at Exla, TNT Skypack, Mithul Enterprises, DM Homes, and Ferroalloys Corporation before starting his entrepreneurial journey in 1992. गिरते हैं शह सवार ही मैदान जंग में वो तिफ्र क्या गिरे जो घुटनों के बल चले. After a setback in his customs clearance business between 2006 and 2013, he joined Cellcast, handling their compliances. His organization, Vipra Associates, started in 2014, is a one-stop business relations company for all your compliance needs, including licensing with Drug Control Authority, Pollution Control Board, DGFT, weights and measures, and BIS, etc. They also handle logistics and customs clearances and all the general insurance needs of your companies. Between 2017 and 2020, he was also the founder and director of Tributum Consultants. His wife, Anupama, is a qualified architect. His 2 sons are based at Canada and US, and the family gets completed with 2 lovely granddaughters. Thank you, Kuchi sir. It's lovely having you here. Over to you, Kuchi sir.
Thank you very much, Abhineet, for that wonderful introduction. And good afternoon to everybody. I said it's a bizarre combination of electronics and commerce. Electronics because of interest, commerce because, frankly speaking, I did not score well in my school. Anyway, I started with Texla television, where I used to do the final testing of the color televisions, which they used to assemble way back when after Asian Games and all, when color televisions were introduced. Then I joined TNT Skypack, which was one of the 3 courier companies which used to operate then, Blue Dart, Skypack, and DHL. After that, I joined a company called Mithul Enterprises, New Delhi. They used to specialize in movement of household goods worldwide, where our clients used to be embassies, diplomats, and foreign missions. I used to take care of the operations. Thereafter, I joined a company called Ferroalloys Corporation. They had a company, they used to make micro motors in Dadri. That's somewhere on the road to Bulandshahr way. We had a collaboration with Sankyo Seiki of Japan. There I used to take care of the imports, and slowly I went into sourcing, and from Japan, to reduce the cost of the imports and all, I went to Taiwan, Singapore, and those places, and we used to source those things. Our clients were basically Philips, Keltron, and that kind of companies. After that, I started my own custom clearance and logistics. I did up to quite a few years, and I started having some setbacks because of payments not coming in time and things like that. So I joined a company called Cellcast Interactive India Private Limited, which was started, which had a parental company in UK, London. They were having television shows where they used to produce from Bombay, and they used to run a lot of contests and all. Cellcast in UK as such has got satellite transponders and underwater communication cables. If you would call from a landline, if you call UK any number, it will go and land on Cellcast switch. Unfortunately, in 2013 and all, they closed their shop and went back to UK. Cellcast doesn't operate in India anymore. Then I started this firm, Vipra Associates. Since then, I've been rendering this consultancy services, compliances. As mentioned, I deal in Pollution Control Board, DGFT, Weights and Measures Act, BIS, and similar things. I also do general insurance because it's one of the part of compliances also. I am attached with Bajaj Alliance, and I can arrange from other companies also. Now I'm rendering these services in Vipra Associates and slowly growing again. I'm also giving logistic services. I can arrange import-export clearances and transportation.
My question to you is, what is one learning you would want all of us to know from your journey? It's an important learning.
Choose your partners very carefully.
Do you mean to say getting married?
Both life partner as well as business partners.
All right.
But business partners, yes, you can leave.
Rajeshwarji, please expand on your even insurance businesses, what you are doing, and maybe about your compliances, because a lot of people, young people are also joined us. If you can speak on them for 10 minutes, it will really help all of us.
Yeah, as far as insurance is concerned, it's basically only general insurance, non-health, wherein motor vehicles, factories, group health, and even employee dishonesty, all these things are covered. General insurance. For example, if you have your factory building or your home insurance also, you can get it done. And basically, if for factories and other big places, they are tailor-made also. The underwriter, sometimes they do the survey also, and the underwriter takes up and then gives a quote.
I would like to know who all have to get registered with the weights and measures.
If you are dealing in any products which are packed or which have to be sold in weight or in volume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If we have imported something and we have not been able to complete our compliances, can you help us there all over India or only Delhi?
If you're talking, are you talking about DGFT, sir?
Yes, turnover of DGFT. Supposing I have imported some machinery, but I have not been able to comply with my exports. Will you be able to help there?
You must be talking about EPCG.
EPCG, okay, right.
It will depend on under which notification you got that license. I'll have to go through that and see which specifically what went wrong and how much shortfall you have, whether it can be condoned or not. Have you submitted a bank guarantee, or you were not required to submit a bank guarantee because of the excise threshold limit you must have crossed, things like that.
But you will be able to do it once you study the case.
Sure.
Pan India or only Delhi?
Nowadays, Pan India also depends if there is a
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Can you help me? In 1997,
yeah,
that under the STPI, I imported computers. We have and they have to export certain amount in 5 years. We have done much more than that.
Okay.
And since last 10 years, we are not even members of STPI, but I can't, can I get rid of them now without having to pay duty?
I will have to go through the specific notifications under which you have cleared.
See, when it was when IT was.
I remember that, I know, but I'll have to see your papers, sir.
Okay, let me see if I can hunt it out.
That's interesting, way, because I had the same thing. I never imported anything, yet they still want to charge me money. I've never done anything with them. They still ask for money.
I imported and I exported much more than what I had committed, because I was only exporting. Now, after a certain period of time, you can allow. When I wanted to scrap it, then the customs said you have to pay duty at the original 150%. So I said, that's nonsense. So then I went to STPI, and then we went to a major loop. Then 3 directors came and went. And everybody said no problem, and I used to know all of them personally. And I said, we'll get it done. I can't go up and down. Finally, I gave up. I've just got a basement full of scrap computers.
Now,
I don't know what's inside.
Is there any demand for or anything like that from any department? Nothing like that.
Nothing. Since 1997, nobody has even come to see whether we have those computers. What have we done?
I think you should go look out for a good kabaddi wala. Because nobody's going to come now. But still, yeah, but still, to be on the safe side, if I can show me the papers sometime.
Yeah, I'll get maybe once we open up, because
sure.
My office is closed right now. But I waited for 23 years. I can wait for another year.
I mean, since it is of compliance, has it like, I mean, the ease of doing business, the Indian ranking has decreased, I mean, has the compliance increase or decrease? A general question out of curiosity.
Compliances are increasing.
Okay.
And earlier they used to be for bigger organizations. Now it's for smaller organizations also. And it's a good sign also, because there'll be some standards.
Ease of doing, I mean, so is it, I mean, getting compliance, the procedure has improved like
more at many places, yes.
Okay.
I must say that many departments. Sorry?
Okay. Easier to be compliant, I mean.
Yes.
Okay.
As far as the systems are concerned, they are fine. People, difficult to manage yet.
Okay.
Looks like that's about it. Can I request Vice Chairman Naresh to please give a vote of thanks?
Thank you. My pleasure. Rajeshwar, it's been wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
More about you. And I think after this platform and this meeting, we should come to you more often. I didn't know that you had such a repository of great experience behind you, and then kind of consulting you can advise. I can tell you I've been after 3 different set of people to do work for me, which can be done by you. I was not aware of it.
I look forward to meeting you.
And I'm sure, you know, you'll be able to help me. And probably being an AoEan, since it's a foundation, I have more trust in you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
Thank you again, Rajeshwar. And the next, we would like to talk about AoE mentoring, which is something very exciting that has happened to AoE. Can I request our AoE mentoring chairman, Mr. Veer Sagar, to kindly update us on the progress of AoE mentoring?
Can you back again, AoE? Yeah, we have had 2 mentees. And I would like to suggest that in future, the mentees should make this presentation rather than us, because we want to know how are they faring. It's all right in the meeting if they all say yes, but is it actually helping them or not? In the first case, which was Rajput, we have the first project in hand. We have done what's called the discovery phase and the phase 1, where we went through his presentation, understood his requirements, and gave him some suggestions. So he's now at the stage where he's actually evaluating the options and to implement it. So hopefully in 1 more session, he should be through. The second one is Sanjay, and we have done 2 sessions with him. The first one was the discovery session, where we try to understand his business and what he was trying to do. The second one, he has made given us some facts, some numbers, and we have discussed some possible action that he could take, that he has, which he has to go back and think and talk to his team, and maybe we'll have another meeting to see how we go forward. In fact, if Sanjay can say he's here, how is he finding it? Is it of any use? Or, I mean, you don't have to be polite, Sanjay.
I mean, I really value the fact that you guys take so much time out for the mentoring. It's very interesting to actually look at things objectively, from outsider looking in, because when you're inside, you don't really see the forest for the trees, as it were. So it's definitely been a learning experience for me, and it's going to take me some time to get off my butt and actually do something about it. But I am trying to. So it's for me, it's really a learning process. Thank you again.
What we are doing is we're not actually telling them what to do, right? Because I don't think that's desirable or that's what they expect. We're making them think, so they come out with what they want to do. Ultimately, it has to come from them. It's their business and whether they can do what we are saying or not. We don't want to be like McKinsey and give them a proposal and say, here are those 10 points. If you do and you succeed, great. If you don't, then you are a fool. We have done a great job. So we actually trying to help them think, look at their business unemotionally, so to say, and see what they can do different. And I hope it works.
Now, as we move on in the next part of the meeting, can I request Vice Chairman, Mr. Naresh Vish, to please introduce our guest speaker of the day today?
Thank you, Shishir. It's my privilege to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Ajeet Bhardwaj. I know him for quite some time because of my, tennis, and he's a great player. Dr. Ajeet Bhardwaj is a renowned optometrist in India. He graduated from AIIMS, New Delhi in 1979 and later completed his master's in optometry from Lotus College of Optometry, Mumbai. He is the founder and director of Optique in Vasant Vihar, New Delhi. Optique is a chain of optometry clinics with retail stores across India since 1988. He is the past president of the Asia Pacific Council of Optometry and Indian Optometry Federation. He was a board member of the World Council of Optometry, World Optometry Foundation, and Optometry Council of India. He was also the clinical director of the Special Olympics Opening Eyes program in India. Dr. Bhardwaj is also an avid tennis player, as said, and plays for the Indian senior tennis team and represents India in international championships. His time traveling with the Indian team built his interest to implement telehealth in his practice so that he could stay connected to his patients while being away. He started a vision center in his village, Haryana, where all patients are provided free consultations, glasses, and cataract surgery in collaboration with AIIMS New Delhi, Shroff Eye Center, Daryaganj, and Lions Eye Hospital in Defense Colony. The center provides services to 20 villages around it. Optometry interns of bachelor's and master's program from Amity University often participate and conduct OPD as a community outreach. Seeing the regular flow of patients and the community outreach, the Haryana government established a primary healthcare center in the same building. He is also actively involved with PhD Chamber of Commerce and advising them in the direction of sports, with how corporates can help people who wants to be active in sports and may not have resources and finances to do that. A gentleman playing a gentleman's game. Over to you, Dr. Bhardwaj.
Thank you, Nareshji, and thank you, AoE team for leadership team, Shishi Chaturvedi ji and Mr. Bedi. I really feel honored to be on this platform. I mean, I see all of you distinguished businessmen, exporters, and leading business owners of leading business houses. I'm really honored that you have given me an opportunity to speak about my life experiences. And as my talk suggests, is it me or my destiny? I really don't know. I will just share my little progress of life. And I like you to derive your experience, your motivation, or your inspiration from it. As you have heard from Nareshji, I come from a small village in Haryana. And that's where I had my initial schooling, which is situated very close to Patodi village. From there, it's about 10 kilometers in Jhajjar district. That's where I did my schooling, and I wanted to be a doctor. And obviously, in those days, there used to be only one medical college, which was Rohtak. And the idea of admission used to be the merit-based. And in 1976, when I was about to get my admission into the college, I had sufficient marks to get into medical college, but unfortunately that very year, they changed the entrance criteria to an entrance-based exam, and I couldn't make it. That year, there was an advertisement I saw in local newspaper that National Control of Blindness Program, they launched that there is going to be a degree course at AIMS New Delhi, which will have enough privileges for students. The students would be able to prescribe glasses, prescribe contact lenses. They will be able to treat common eye ailment and participate in various public health programs of the state and central government, so they would have sufficient jobs. So keeping this in mind that this job could be a good alternative choice for me, I took admission in AIMS in 1976. It so happened that my mind was still bent on going to Rohtak Medical College, and I started preparing. And in 1977, I again got admission in Rohtak Medical College. I got a letter that you are invited to pay your fees and appear for a medical interview. And I stopped going to college at AIMS, but I was still in the hostel. And 3 days prior to that very incident, I was playing badminton in the sports complex there. And when you play badminton, sometimes I gave a small return, and I thought that the person will give a drop. And when I rushed to the net, he smashed, and that smash hit my right eye. I lost my vision in the eye, and I was admitted to AIMS, where I was a student, and put on a bandage in the right eye. Bandage was for both because there was internal bleeding. Because of that, I lost my vision, and rejected me that you can't get admission because you don't have vision unless AIMS gives us in writing that everything will be normal. We can't let you in. And when I came back, I thought that since I'm a student, they will do me a favor by giving me that recommendation, but it happened otherwise. It backfired. That the head of RP Center in those days, Professor L. Bhardwaj, he said that you can't do that because you have taken admission, you have completed your 1 year, we will not let you go, and you have spoiled a seat for a year. You must complete this particular course, and I'll tell Rohtak Medical College, because I am on the board, that they should not let you in. And that day I decided that that's my destiny to become an optometrist, and started focusing on my profession of optometry. So I did not come just because I wanted it, but it was in my destiny to be an optometrist by profession. Immediately I passed out, I got a job and went on Optician New Delhi, which I think used to be very famous and very still popular retail outlet in Connaught Place. I used to have my chamber upstairs. The clinic or the retail shop is on the ground floor, and I was having a very comfortable job, good salary, good incentives, and very good profile of customers, because in those days, Connaught Place was the only market where who and who of Delhi will visit. And one afternoon, I saw one patient coming for me for an eye exam, and after his eye exam, he gave me his card that he wants to meet me in Moria next day. He was a Nigerian, and he introduced himself as the director of Nosco Eye Hospitals. He said that he owns a leading eye hospital, not A1, but a chain of leading hospitals in Nigeria, and he wants to employ me there. He's very impressed with the way I work. And when I met him in Moria, he gave me an employment letter, and he said that he gave me the names of few doctors and few optometrists who were working with him, and they happened to be my seniors. They were my teachers who was working with him. So I felt very comfortable and joined him, or agreed to join him in Nigeria. On 10th of December 1980, I took my first flight to Nigeria. I never had a passport till then. I never wanted to go out. It's just that this incident happened, and everything was made to me on my platter, and I reached Lagos. I was to go to an eye hospital or to a destination called Enugu. And from Lagos to Enugu, it's about 45 minutes flight, and I had to take my connecting flight from Lagos to Enugu. And in those days, we did not have credit cards. We did not have enough money, more than $20, which we allowed as a FTA travel allowance. And that money, the taxi drivers knew that most of the Indians, when they come, they only have $20. And they took that money transporting me from international to domestic airport. And by the time I reached there, I had missed my flight. Anyway, the next day, early morning, I took my flight. And so happened that when I was about to land in Enugu, in Christmas time, they have a weather called Harmattan, which is dusty weather, which makes the pilot not to see, the visibility goes down. And he said that I can't land, I'm taking you back to Lagos. And I was back to Lagos first. I spent 6 days at domestic airport of Lagos without any food, without water, because they don't drink water, they only drink beer. And that time I did not touch non-veg food or beer, anything. And on 7th day, that was 17th of October, 17th of December, one gentleman came. He said that I've been watching you here for the last 7 days. Why are you, suffering yourself, and why disgracing your country? In fact, that's the word he used. He said that I will take you to your destination, but to make sure that your director pays you whatever is my charges. I thought that he gently said that. I agreed, and he took me to the place we were supposed to go to Enugu. And it was a long journey. After 12 hours, we were crossing a town. It was around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the night. And I told him, he said that we are so tired. And he said, yes. And he said that we are just crossing this town of Unisha. I said, okay. When I checked his card, we had an address there. I said that our company owns a hospital here. And he said that, fine, let's go and look for them. And we went to the hospital. But, in Nigeria, after 8:39, nobody opens the door. And we decided that we sleep outside the hospital. And next morning, we saw a lot of people gathered around our car. We were sleeping in the car. And they took me to the doctor there, who happened to be my teacher. And he was one teaching in AIMS. And after 7 days, I had my first meal, which my teacher gave it to me that day. That's my entry. I got my job. I started working for next 7 years. I was very happy doing the job. I was earning good money, no plans to come back, nothing. Very comfortable life, good car. I was just 21 years of age when I went there. 27, 28, in 87, January 87, I had renewed my contract with them, and I decided to come back for my leave. We used to get like 20 months of work and 2 months of leave. And by then I had traveled all over the world. I've seen every country I wanted to visit, and comfortable with the job. So on 30th of January, 1987, I was coming back in my car, and 2 of my friends decided that they will drop me at the airport. And just 10 minutes prior to the airport, our car was overtaken by somebody, and he blocked us from the front. And when we looked back, 3 of us looked back, we saw another car blocked us from the back. And it's about 7:38. I had my flight around 10 o'clock in the night. And I saw these people coming out from the car and started shooting at us randomly. And they were shooting indiscriminately. And the shot 3 of us threw us out of the car. And after shooting, he came to me, and I noticed that he had a revolver in his hand. And he removed my wallet, he removed my watch, and he sat in the car and he ran away. For 45 minutes, there was nobody. 3 of us were shouting, crying in the pain. And after 45 minutes, a taxi driver came and he picked me up, and he said that, do you have any money? I said, so I'm sorry, I don't have anything. He said that, okay, I'll drop you to the nearest car because you already spoiled my car. I need to do the washing. And he dropped me to the next hospital. And that hospital, it was Saturday night. Nobody works in Nigeria on Saturday. And so a doctor came and he said that you're in a hospital, but you're in the wrong hospital. It's a veterinary hospital. And he said that I can't do anything except to take you to the teaching hospital of Lagos, which is one of the best, like AIMS. And he took me there. And after dropping me there, he came back, I thanked him, and I was bleeding, and it was like, I don't know when I will collapse or something. And that's the way the things were. And next it happened, like they asked me like, what happened? I said, this is what happened. And he said that we can see a shot in your back, but we don't see any exit. Are you shot or you have been stabbed? It looks like you have been stabbed, because if you were shot, the bullet, when it enters, it exits. And once it exits, that's where the damage happens. We don't see the exit from your body. And we decided to do the X-ray, but nothing appeared on the X-ray. Well, on my insistence that they were shooting, he repeated the X-ray, but nothing appeared again. On Monday morning, there was a senior consultant came and he said that why you have not taken a side view of him. And when he put me literally on the X-ray machine, he could spot the bullet right near my right rib. And they decided that it's going to, it's like, I wasn't able to breathe. And I thought that, they said that you can pass away anytime. And Monday morning, I remember the news has widespread in the Indian Embassy. Our second secretary used to be Deepak Vora. He came to me and he told me that, your condition is very serious. And so I requested him, why don't you put me in the same hospital where my two friends are? So he told me that both the friends are dead. And you are the only survivor of this incident. And this news was carried in the local TV channels. And by the afternoon, they decided that I have to be carried away from that hospital. And when I checked why I need to be carried away, so there's a threat that you are the only eyewitness of that incident. And it's likely that we suspect there could be another attack because they don't like to leave a witness. And we have certain locations which we cannot disclose it to you. So I was moved to another location, a hospital, which it wasn't a hospital, it was a private kind of clinic or a room where no other patient was there. It was a heavily guarded place. And I was there alone in that hospital with just attendant and a nurse who were looking after me. And next morning, that was Tuesday morning, surgeon came, they had done all my tests, and they said that we have to operate you immediately because your bleeding is so much that your right lung has collapsed, your right liver has been damaged, and because of the internal bleeding, your heart is about to collapse. So we have to do this surgery immediately. I said, if it is to be done, then why are you not doing it? He said, but the anesthetist doesn't want to take a risk because he will not be able to revive you back because of your only one lung. So you have to take this surgery and we have to give a consent that you will do without any anesthesia. And cardiothoracic surgeries are like very barbaric. They take you, it's just like a chisel and they hit you like a hammer. And the surgery involved that they will make a hole in my rib. And from that, they will put a tube and connect it with the bottle. And the blood need to go out from that bottle. And more the blood comes out, earlier will be the recovery. And I was on this process for next 10 days. The blood was continuing to come out and getting collected into the bottle. And after 10 days, when the blood stopped, they removed that and they said that now we have to transport you to UK. I said, for what? I said, they want to remove the bullet. I decided that I'm not going to go to UK. I said, I want to come back to India for this surgery. And they put me back. They put me to Delhi flight. I was in a stretcher, came back to Delhi, and I went to AIMS for surgery. But after this, I met the doctor. I said, the doctor, have you experienced of removing this? They said, I'm sorry that we don't have experience of doing this particular surgery, but why don't you approach the R&R hospital, or sorry, Army hospital here, and they have experience of doing this surgery for you. And when I went them, to them. They say it's very common for us to do it, but unfortunately, you are a civilian and we cannot perform this surgery for you until unless the President of India gives you this consent that you can be operated in this hospital. And I had no access to the president, and I decided that I will get a surgery done somewhere else. And then we identified a place in Bihar, which is the most criminal area of the country, where you have maximum Naxalite and maximum gang wars in the night. And we decided that we get the surgery done there. And I went to a place called Mukama, where the surgeon operated on me, and I decided that I have not to go back to Nigeria anymore for the employment anymore, which my parents did not allow. And I decided that whatever the money, I have made a lot of money there in Nigeria, but unfortunately, all my treatment and everything took everything away. And when the purpose of going was to make money and come back with investment so that I could own some business. It didn't happen. And I was come back to a similar situation. I had a luxurious car in Nigeria, a luxurious house. But when I came back again, I had to go back on a two-wheeler. I had to buy a two-wheeler and start my journey again. The little money I had, I invested. I couldn't buy any shop. I could only get a small place in Vasant Vihar in the basement of C Block Market. And I started my business there. And after, fortunately, the business grew, business became better, business started doing very well. Vasant Kunj was coming up. Between Vasant Vihar and Vasant Kunj, I was the only opticians. And now if I look back after 30 or 40, 35 years, there are 30 opticians in the same area. At that time, I was alone and I could spread, I could get, there was a vacuum in this area. And fortunately, I did so well that I spread to 14 different countries, 14 different cities of India. I had 14 locations in around different cities I went to wherever I started playing tennis. In meanwhile, I have never played before. It was just an inspiration from a patient of mine. A patient of mine came to me one day. He said, "Doctor, I have been coming to you from last 10 years, but I think I should stop coming to you." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're not able to look after your own health. You have become so fat and you have become obese in last 10 years. And if you can't take care of your health, it's very unlikely that you can take good care of my health." And that made me to look at some sport. And Vasant Vihar was coming up. I started practicing in Vasant Vihar, gradually started playing. And we added hearing aid business to our portfolio. And we became the supplier of hearing aid to defense sectors. And when I started getting better in tennis, I used to travel to different locations, different cities. And as you know that when you are starting a game, you go and lose in the first round, but you have 4 or 5 days. So what I used to do is I will go to different hospitals for defense. I'll make contact there and I will establish an institutional business. And when the subsequent visit, I will establish my clinic there. And that's how I spread to 14 cities where army base was there. I spread to Pune, to Bombay, to Calcutta, to Vizag, all the defense hospitals, wherever the cities were, I was having my business of hearing, eye and ear care. And that is how I was able to, grow my business from just a small outlet in C Block to it became one of the largest, we became one of the largest distributor of hearing aid in the defense sector. And the business really grew, and that is what we really made it. Well, I'll tell you, I told you about my education, how I came into it, how I came into business. And one area I want to cover is about how I came to the politics of my profession. I never had any, in every profession you have an association, and we had an optometry association in the country. And I never went for any election. It was, you have election for every position. And it so happened that Asia Pacific Conference was to happen in Manila, Philippines. And our association nominated 2 people from India that they will go and attend this association. And my name wasn't there. 2 of my friends, Rajesh is here. Mr. Vinay Agrawal and Sandeep Malhotra, they were nominated to go to Philippines. And when they went there, to apply for their visa, they did not get the visa. So they came back and they said that, Mr. Bhardwaj, can you help? We did not get the visa. So I checked my contact because I had contacts being in Vasant Vihar. I had a lot of contacts with the US Embassy and USAID. And I happened to know somebody in USAID, and I asked him that, do you know somebody in Philippine Embassy? He said, yes, we give a lot of aid to Philippines. So what is the issue? I said that we want to attend a conference there and we are not getting a visa. So he said, Dr. Bhardwaj, you go there and we will get a visa, but I can only request the ambassador if you are one of them. So I approached my association. I said, that's what the situation is. They said, okay, fine. Instead of three of you can go. And we went. And somehow my name was nominated in the Asia Pacific Council as an executive committee member. And I was elected as an executive committee member. After 2 years, we had election in Australia for the vice president position. I wasn't there in that meeting, and somehow my name was recommended, and I became the president of Asia Pacific without being in the election of that. So all things happened by default or by destiny, and I rose to a position that I went to World Council of Optometry, and later I was in the World Optometry Foundation, and I happened to travel. Because of my position at the international level, I could attend the World Health Organization's assembly meetings in Asia Pacific region and go to best of the places and go to the most, you could say, the most dangerous of places. I happened to visit Colombia twice, one of the most dangerous city in the world, which is Medellin, where drugs are sold like the way we sell our palm, and that's how it covered my international journey. When I returned back in 2011, I finished my international position, and I thought that since my international tenure is over, I would not be interested in any Indian position, and I had no interest in taking a job at or any position in an international forum. But it so happened in 2015, one of the association's head came to me that we need somebody to look after the federation president, and we'll request you to take on this position. After it said, and I realized that in 2015, the rights which we were to be given in 2015 by our Ministry of Health, they hadn't been given. In India, if you notice that you go to any optical shop, any optical store or anywhere, people there, they're not educated. They don't have any qualifications. And by 2015, Modi government was in power and they had started the Ministry of Skill. And what actually they did is just that all these hospitals, all the NGOs, the Lenskart, all the big retail chain, all the eye hospitals, they started short-term courses they will train people without any qualification for 3 months, for 6 months. And Ministry of Skill, they will award the certification to them. As a result, people thought, when you see a certificate by Ministry of Skill, you feel the person is educated and qualified, but actually they hardly have any training. So when I took over the president of Federation and I looked at my balance of my statement, I said, how much money the association has? They said that we hardly have any much money left. And we had only 5,000 rupees in the account. So I said, the only thing what you can do is just sit on a hunger strike with this money. And we sat on a hunger strike on 23rd of March on Jantar Mantar for 2 days, and made a demand to the government that you need to give us the right which you promised when we were students. And we went to Delhi High Court. And it so happened that Delhi High Court, we were fighting against Ministry of Skill, Ministry of Health, all big industrial houses like the companies which make lenses, because they all have these short-term courses to sell glasses in rural areas. And the case went to the Chief Justice, and Chief Justice gave an order that what the government is doing is illegal. And I'm happy to announce that today, on 28th of March 2021, President has passed the bill, President has signed a bill, which will regulate not only our profession, but 56 professions of healthcare in India. Law is in place now. Very soon you will see the dynamics of this happening. And this is something that will change not only health eye care delivery in India, but entire healthcare system of India, because 56 professions of allied health and healthcare professions are going to be streamlined in next 1.5 years or 2 years time. This is what my political stint says. And about tennis, Naresh ji is my partner, and I have been fortunate to play with him. Since I started playing in the club level, I happen to be now, I represent India in World Championships. I play for the country team, and I hope that one day we'll get some international medal for the country. One thing I have won many tournaments and many titles. One tournament I want to give you a kind of revise on that is, I was playing in World Championship. This was my first World Championship. And over all the teams, I wasn't part of Indian team, but I had gone in the capacity of individual, where top 128 players are participating for the World Championship title. All our team members, they had lost all their matches. This was 2013, and this was my first championship. And everybody the mood was so down that we had none of us had won our matches. And I went and I played my first round and I lost again. And we thought the standard is too high. But I realized that next day there's a tournament which is called Consolation, where the people who have lost in the first round, it means the next 64 players, these 64 players can participate again. And this title is called Consolation, which is also a very prestigious title at World Championship. I decided to participate in this, and luck so had it that you have to win 5 matches to be the final. After 5 matches, it was the final match of World Championship. And I remember I was to play a 26th ranked player. His name is Mark Pepin. And he called me in the hotel with the tournament. The championship was in Ali Bay, Antalya. And he called me at 8 o'clock in the night. He said, Ajeet, I said, yes, Mark, how can I help you? He said that we have a match tomorrow at 11, the finals. I said, yes. He said, there's a problem that, I have to go back and have my flight. And can you play this morning, the match at 8 o'clock instead of 11 o'clock? So I just said, okay, give me a time. I'll get back to you in an hour's time. And since it was the final of World Championship, I talked to my friends and they said, that Canadians, they don't like heat. And he is trying to avoid this heat and he is tricking you. He is putting you in a trap that, that you play at his convenience and when the weather is cold. And when I talk to all my friends, say, why should you change? Because this is the time fixed by the organizers and not by you. But then I thought for a while, I said that if I look back anytime at this title, and I will always feel that this title I got without playing finals. So I said that as it is, I'm the situation where I never thought I will be. So why should I? I said, I called him back after an hour. I said, Mark, we'll play at 8 o'clock. And we played and I won the finals. So our focus, my focus, has never been on the result. And whatever adversity I have been in, whatever situation I have been in, I've always felt that there is light at the end of it. And there is going to be a better future. There's going to be a better outcome of this adversity in my life. We meet people not just by, I met Nareshji not just by, it's destined. It's in your fortune that you meet people. And the outcome of that, sometimes it is good and sometimes it is bad. But there's something which none of us see, is that there's something better which we even can't dream, which is for us. So I think I'll close my talk with this. I don't know, I could hear your talks and your profile. All of you are much accomplished and much better businessmen than me. And you have done much better in the business area. But I thought that I shared this on one of my journey with Nareshji, and he said that I would like you to invite to this forum. And I'm very happy that you all have given us time and heard my story, and hope something useful can come out of it. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Our next AoE meet is 15th May 2021. One thing that has been discussed in the managing committee is that we used to have some wonderful socials before the pandemic with families where our better halves are also getting to know each other. And in the last 1 year, we have not been able to do that. So, I mean, uh, we have been talking about a possibility of a Zoom program where families are also involved. Anybody has any suggestions, please do get in touch with managing committee, please. Any one of us. That's about it. Thank you so much to the new members, our guest here today, both Mr. Kapoor and Abhishek. If you like what you see and if you want to be part of us, please contact us through the person who invited you here.